That's number one on that invitation list.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leo, you're like, damn it.
God damn it.
Leo struck again.
Well, if she's over 30, you don't even have to worry about Leo.
Not over like 23. Yeah, 30.
When Sean Diddy Combs' legal troubles exploded into one of the biggest celebrity scandals in recent memory, the internet did what it always does. It started digging. Old photos resurfaced, old interviews were replayed, celebrity guest lists were re-examined, and suddenly, Leonardo DiCaprio's name was being dragged into a conversation he clearly did not ask to be part of. But then, Joe Rogan's reaction pushed the story into another lane. Because Rogan didn't just talk about Diddy, he talked about Hollywood. He talked about celebrity silence, and he questioned why so many powerful names suddenly seemed uncomfortable with the past. Tonight, we are breaking down how Leonardo DiCaprio got pulled into the Diddy drama, what Joe Rogan's reaction really means, and why the internet refuses to let this story disappear.
Leonardo DiCaprio is voting for Kamala Harris. Has nothing to do with the Diddy parties.
when you guys were talking,
nothing to do with the Diddy parties. He's endorsed Kamala Harris because of climate
what do you
change.
think
Then
about
did you
that?
see him? He's on a yacht and then on a private jet. Literally
so
like
smart.
last week.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know Diddy won a lawsuit against that alcohol company? The alcohol company?
Ciroc?
Ciroc.
Yes.
He won like $1 billion deal. And once that happened, then this all came out.
So many horrific accusations, though, involving young singers, like children.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
It's insane.
He makes R. Kelly look like a decent guy.
Yeah,
It's so crazy.
it is crazy. And meanwhile, the guy was like hanging out with Oprah, hanging out with Obama.
Jay-Z, everyone.
Everybody.
I'm sure the Clintons were there at some point.
Maybe Bill.
For years, Diddy's famous white parties were seen as the ultimate symbol of celebrity access, luxury, power, music, models, movie stars, and a guest list that looked like Hollywood's inner circle. Leonardo DiCaprio was one of many celebrities photographed in that world years ago. And under normal circumstances, that would mean very little. But after the allegations against Diddy became public, old images started being viewed through a darker lens. And that's where the controversy begins.
The internet. And the internet thinks that the Taliban took out that bridge in Baltimore. So it's like, who f***ing knows? Who knows what's real?
That's what Diddy's lawyers, I think, said. It was like that these are just trumped up charges. Not trumped up, I don't think they said that, but like bullshit charges.
Dude, when Homeland Security invade your house,
You got problems.
with dudes with fucking guns and body armor. There's
Someone said that they weren't there to take stuff. They were there to delete everything.
I mean, everybody hung with Diddy. That's the other tricky
Yeah,
thing. Like, Diddy
that
hung
is
out
the
with
thing.
everybody. And I've spoken to a bunch of people who are like, yo, great dude, like, always there for you, never asked for a single thing.
till 1 a.m.
And then
Then
freak off.
everybody
begins.
says, "Get out of the house."
Yeah.
It's like the gremlins start eating after midnight.
Y'all remember that actor Leonardo DiCaprio? Well, Leo is somebody who has been long documented as somebody who really enjoys going to some Diddy parties. But he be saying that he only went to the white parties, not the freak-offs. Bruh, you sure about that? I mean, it could just be me, but this kind of looks pretty sus. It's just a whole bunch of dudes on a bed, and you got your skinny little white boy legs out there. Like, what's really happening? Can we get somebody who's better at science than me to measure the distance between Leo's junk and Diddy's mouth? And what are these other dudes doing? Like, I swear to God, that dude is making straight up love eyes at him. And Leo be looking real happy and real relaxed right here. I mean, I don't know, is it just me or does that scream some weird stuff happened? Let me know in the comments.
At that time, Puff was the biggest guy in the world. You know, you couldn't even get in his parties. And he was throwing a party, and he said, yo, Playboy, this party's $1.5 million. I said, for what? I mean, what are you saying? He said, it costs $1.5 million to throw this party. I said, Puff, oh my God, I love it. The party's amazing. Yes, the mayor is here and everything. I said, but that's too much money. I said, you come to my place in LA, I'll throw you a party for $400 that will rival this party. And he got a little mad because, you know, he was like, yo, no, I'm known for this shit. Don't front.
Sean Diddy Combs.
To understand why Leonardo DiCaprio's name started trending, you have to understand the difference between two things. One, publicly known celebrity parties from the late 1990s and 2000s where countless A-list figures appeared. And two, the much more serious allegations now surrounding Diddy, including accusations made in lawsuits and criminal proceedings. The problem is that online culture often collapses those two things into one. A photo from a party becomes a theory. A guest list becomes an accusation. A resurfaced interview becomes evidence in the court of public opinion. But being photographed at a public celebrity event is not the same thing as being connected to criminal allegations. Leonardo DiCaprio's name entered the conversation mainly because of old photos and past references connecting him to Diddy's social circle. Diddy's white parties were heavily photographed and covered in entertainment media. They were marketed as glamorous, exclusive events, and DiCaprio, like many other stars, was reportedly seen at some of those events years ago. But after Diddy's legal issues became global news, people began pulling those old photos out of context. Suddenly, a decades-old party photo was no longer treated like a celebrity snapshot. It became part of a larger online mystery. And once Joe Rogan's audience started discussing it, the story got even bigger. Joe Rogan's reaction was not just about Leonardo DiCaprio. It was about a bigger question. How much do celebrities know about the circles they move in? Rogan has built a massive audience by asking uncomfortable questions, sometimes bluntly, sometimes speculatively, and often in a way that fuels debate. So when DiCaprio's name started getting mentioned in the Diddy conversation, Rogan's reaction gave the internet exactly what it wanted: a high-profile voice questioning Hollywood's protected image. But the key point is this: Rogan's reaction does not automatically prove wrongdoing by anyone. It proves that the public is suspicious. And right now, suspicion is driving the entire conversation. One reason this story keeps spreading is silence. When scandals hit Hollywood, the public expects statements. They expect denials. They expect celebrities to explain where they were, what they knew, and what they saw. But in reality, publicists often advise stars to say nothing unless they absolutely have to. And that silence creates a vacuum. Inside that vacuum, the internet starts building its own version of events. So when Leonardo DiCaprio did not personally go on camera to address every rumor, many people online interpreted that silence as suspicious. But silence can also be legal strategy, it can be brand protection, or it can simply mean a celebrity does not want to dignify unverified claims. Joe Rogan's reaction went viral because it tapped into something bigger than one actor or one music mogul. People are tired of celebrity immunity. They feel like powerful people attend the same parties, protect the same networks, and then distance themselves when scandals explode. So when Rogan questions Hollywood, his audience hears it as a challenge to the system. That is why Leonardo DiCaprio's name became such a lightning rod. DiCaprio represents elite Hollywood, Diddy represents music industry power, and Rogan represents the outsider asking what everyone else is afraid to say out loud. That combination is perfect fuel for viral controversy. The internet loves patterns. It takes an old photo, a resurfaced quote, a guest list, a deleted post, a nervous expression, and turns them into a storyline. Sometimes those patterns lead to real discoveries, but sometimes they lead to false accusations. In DiCaprio's case, the strongest publicly available connection is old social proximity, being seen at famous parties, being part of the celebrity world, and having his name associated with Diddy's social circle. That is not the same as being implicated in the allegations. But for content creators, commentators, and audiences chasing the next shocking angle, that distinction often gets blurred. Leonardo DiCaprio has spent decades building one of the most protected images in Hollywood. He is not just a movie star. He is an Oscar-winning actor, a climate activist, a global celebrity, and a figure who usually avoids messy public scandals. That is why his name being pulled into the Diddy conversation shocked so many people. It challenges the clean, controlled image people associate with him. And that is why the story spreads. Not because there is confirmed evidence against DiCaprio, but because the contrast is dramatic. The internet loves when a polished Hollywood image collides with a scandalous headline. The real question is not whether every celebrity who ever attended a Diddy party is guilty of something. That would be irresponsible. The real question is how much of Hollywood's social world existed behind closed doors and why so many people are now trying to separate themselves from it. Joe Rogan's reaction matters because it reflects a shift in public trust. Audiences no longer accept celebrity glamour at face value. They want context, they want accountability, and they want to know whether the people at the top saw warning signs and ignored them. That is why this story is not going away.